So it's the month of January, and right off the top of your head, you're probably not thinking baseball just yet. But truth of the matter is, spring training is indeed just around the corner. And with that in mind, over 50 years, the Minnesota Twins Caravan has traveled around the upper Midwest in Twins territory, and we're fortunate enough to have them stop by the Lazer studios today. Wow, look at this panel of guests today. We begin with Mr. Paul Molitor. Thank you for coming in today.
Good to be with you. Thanks for having us today.
Absolutely. We also have longtime Twins play-by-play man Dick Bremer.
Good to be with you.
Thank you for being here. And Twins pitchers Brian Duensing.
How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And Ryan Presley.
Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. So you've been all over the upper Midwest. This is the 50-some year that the Twins have done this. And it's amazing that in the off-season, the general consensus is that there's probably not a heck of a lot going on. But the truth of the matter is you guys are getting in game shape already, are you not?
Yeah.
I know I am.
Yeah.
For me personally, I start doing workouts like November 1st or so. I give the month of October. Unfortunately, we weren't in the playoffs, so I gave the month of October to my body, let it recover, and then start back up again in November and pick up a baseball December 1st and been throwing ever since.
We've gotten Mr. Paul Molitor back in a Twins uniform, this time around as a coach. Now, there's a lot of different responsibilities that come along with what you're doing with the Twins starting this season.
Well, it's exciting for me to have been asked to rejoin the coaching staff. And I've talked to Ron Gardenhire about what my role will be. I'll try to help out as much as I can in as many areas as I can. We got a very competent staff, and Gardy's a great leader. But I'll be concentrating on base running and defensive infield play. And when Tom Brunansky, our hitting coach, wants to pick my brain, we'll see what we can do there. But just getting back on the major league level and being with these guys day to day, it's going to be a lot of fun for me.
There's some in-game strategy involved, too. I understand that you're going to be involved in some of the in-game things as well.
Well, I think they just kind of threw that in there. Gardy handles the game very well. He knows how to use his bench and his bullpen. But, every once in a while, situations might come up where either Terry Steinbach or myself might be able to throw something in there.
Dick, we know it's been a difficult few years for these Minnesota Twins. We do have... there's a lot of hope, though, involved in this team. There's a lot of young talent here that are just now beginning to start to gel as a team. From your perspective as the play-by-play man, what are some of the pieces that we're missing, and do you think some of those things have already been taken care of by the front office?
Well, I think so. At least that's the hope. What we were reminded of, not that we needed a reminder over the last 3 years, but if you don't have competent starting pitching, you really don't have a chance. You can't score enough runs on a consistent basis to put together a winning record. So the Twins have addressed that. And then I think this next season, the 2014 season, started right after the end of last year. When things were going good with this organization, you heard a lot about the Twins way. But really the Twins way, to me, was best symbolized when things weren't going well during the stretch in the 90s and even going back to when Paul was finishing his career. They stayed pretty stable. They realized that maybe they didn't have the talent. They didn't jettison the manager or the general manager like so many teams do and have done, and the Twins stayed the course. I think everyone would acknowledge that Ron Gardenhire didn't have a pitching staff to work with, didn't have a starting staff to work with. So the first order of business was bringing him back and the coaches, adding Paul, then adding some pitchers. So I think for those reasons and some others, we're all pretty bullish about where this team is headed in the next few years.
Yeah, bringing Ricky Nolaska in and, of course, Phil Hughes as well, some big names there in free agency. Mentioning the starting pitching just a bit ago and how difficult a year it was, particularly last year for starting pitching for the Minnesota Twins. Got to give a nod to the bullpen, and that's where Brian and Ryan, you guys come in. Among some of the best relief pitching innings that this team has seen in quite some time. And unfortunately, it's because starting pitching really wasn't panning out.
Yeah, I mean, bullpen kind of got taxed a little bit, but we had fun out there. I mean, it was a good time. I mean, not losing, but getting out there and pitching it for me, for a rookie. I got a lot more experience, and I think that kind of helped me out. But definitely don't want to pitch that many innings again out of the pen. So,
Brian, what's it like for you coming out of the pen? I know to start, when you got the call up to the Twins, you were starting, and in fact started in the playoffs against the Yankees as well, which was a big spot for you. But what's it like making that transition to the bullpen, and do you ever want to get back to being a starter again at some point?
The transition wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. There's a lot more that goes into being a reliever than just throwing every day or being ready to throw it. You got to figure out what your body can and can't handle in between outings, or how to mentally prepare for each outing, each team. You have to know the lineup inside and out. Specifically for me, like lefties, you got to figure out when you might get used. So there's a lot that goes into it. With that being said, I enjoyed being a starter. I like knowing when I was going to pitch. I like knowing my schedule and being able to prepare against the team I'm going to throw against. Whatever the Twins would like me to do, I have no problem doing, and go out there and compete as best I can.